Hi everyone, welcome to Caboose Stop Hobby's YouTube channel. I'm proud to say that I'm a supporter and shopper at Caboose Stop Hobbies in Cedar Falls. A lot of what you see in my layout here came from Caboose Stop, so I would highly encourage you to stop by and talk to Carol and Merlin, and they'll definitely help you get your model railroading needs taken care of. Great people, and it's just great that we still have a bricks and mortar hobby shop that we can stop by and take a look at the products before purchasing them, unlike some of the online stores. So we need to keep supporting our local businesses, our brick and mortar hobby shops, so we have them around and we're able to get what we need for our model railroads. So I'm going to give you a real brief layout tour here, and then I'm going to just do some little mini operating session, show off some of my locomotives and rolling stock and just some of the scenery I have. So my layout, it's a small modular layout. I'll show you where the layout is split in the middle. Its total length is 9 foot, and at its widest it is at about 36 inches or 3 feet, and it tapers down to about 24 feet in the middle. Mostly this was a layout designed to maximize the space that I had. It is a continuous run. It's not like a traditional shelf layout where you just go from one end to the other. I wanted to be able to do a continuous run, so I do have the ability to run trains around the layout. So this is about 3 years old. I had my brother help me with the bench work, and I did the rest of the construction of the layout myself. I apologize if the camera gets a little shaky here. I'm free holding it, not on the tripod. Just want to give you a sense for what the track plan looks like and some of the geography of the layout. This is again, a modular design. It's split in the middle. You can see at the lower end of the screen is where my diesel shop is. The right side of the screen is short yard. The left side of the layout is grain elevator, and at the very far end at the top of the screen, it's a little bit of a rural farm scene. So I'm just going to give you a real quick tour here. Here's the farm scene. This is a county road. Let me pan down here. Actually printed out the road, so Blackhawk County Road D20. It's fictional. This whole layout is fictional. It's a freelance layout, Midwest based. Based in the late 70s, early 80s. So I try to have everything era specific for that particular time. So we have County Road here that runs through just a little fictional small town. We have the farm on the left side. The area with the green building is the Spawn and Rose Lumber. I'll give you a better shot of that in a second. On the back side of that is gas station. And let's pan right here just a little bit. No Midwest scene would be complete without a grain elevator and a separate siding for that. So just continuing on, over here on the right hand side of the layout, this is more of the yard and the shop area. Have a diesel house, sanding facility, sanding towers, refueling rig, propane station here for the co-op. I do have a scale back on the siding there, so that's in a nutshell where we're at. Now I know it's really difficult to see because it is actually hidden pretty well, but right here, this little crack right here symbolizes where the two halves of the layout come together. So both of these halves of the layout were actually wired completely independently of one another. I have some terminal strips and some RJ12 jacks to connect the Loconet cables, so I can disassemble this layout and move it fairly easily. I had to disassemble it a couple years ago just to move it out of this room for whatever reason. I can have it disassembled and completely move it out of the room in probably about 45 minutes. Legs come off pretty easily. Just have to get the wires unhooked, take the backdrop off. So it'd be pretty easy to move if I ever have to move it out of this room, or for whatever reason if we have to move into a different house. Everything's good to go. Probably noticed that I have a lot of Illinois Central Gulf. That is the railroad that I'm modeling. Again, late 70s, early 80s, Illinois Central ICG at that time still had some first generation diesels being used, a lot of rebuilds, GP10s, GP9s, some GP38-2s, SD40s, some switchers. So a lot of what I'm modeling, it's the orange and white era of the ICG. So you'll see that I have some Gulf Mobile and Ohio units because those were still present in their GM&O paint throughout the time after the merger. I do have one Chicago Central and Pacific locomotive. Obviously the real life ICG spun off the Iowa division and it became the Chicago Central and Pacific, and the headquarters are right here in Waterloo. So that's sort of the theme that I am going with this layout. A couple things I'll show you here. The DCC system that I'm using is Digitrax. I have a Digitrax Super Chief, and it's a great DCC system. I haven't had any issues with Digitrax. I do have a couple things I want to show you here. This is a ProtoThrottle. I'll give you a demonstration of that once we get into the op session. I do have a fast clock, and the cool thing is the fast clock actually talks to the ProtoThrottle, so you can see we can use fast clock on here if we want to. We do have a working scale, and I use that term loosely. It's a simulated scale. It doesn't actually weigh the cars themselves, but it will simulate weighing a car as it goes over the scale track that I have over in the yard. So all of the track has been painted, weathered, ballasted. There is cork road bed down here. For the yard and the siding, I actually use a little bit different height, the road bed, so it gives the feel that the sidings or the yard itself is actually a little bit lower than the main line. But you can see here that hand painted the rusty rail color on here, so the top is nice and shiny, but it gives you that sort of used rail look. Time-consuming process, but realistic from a realism standpoint, it looks great. Here's just a little bit. I know it doesn't translate real well into the camera, but you can just see the difference in height between the main line and then the siding, which is back off to where the covered hoppers are sitting. So I'll talk just a little bit about the wiring of the layout here. I'm not going to crawl underneath there because I know I don't have enough light to be able to show you the wires. But what I ended up doing, and I'm going to show you some still shots here. The nice thing about building modular layout, when I built it, I actually wired it while the layout was really basically propped up on its side. So I ran plenty of feeder wires, and you can see those on the pictures here that I've taken. And I really, knock on wood, have not had any electrical issues with this layout in terms of dead spots, shorts, anything. If you'll notice on these pictures, I have tortoises wired up to all the turnouts. The tortoises are wired up to DS64, so I'm able to control the turnouts with my hand throttle, which is kind of nice. The other thing that I did was I ended up power routing the frogs, so using the tortoise, you can use the track power, and you can power the frogs of your turnouts and allow them to match the polarity of whatever direction that your turnout is, whether it's in a thrown or a closed position. So that certainly helped quite a bit with having eliminating some of the shorts that occur over the turnouts. A couple other things you'll notice on the layout here, and I'll give you a demonstration of these. Right here I have a block signal, and that is a fully animated signal. And then down at the far end, I do have a 1960 style cantilever flashing grade crossing. That is fully automated and wired up. And again, can't show you the screen or underneath my layout how I wired these up, but I actually wired these modules up on a separate piece of 1/4 inch plywood and mounted them underneath the layout and finished up the wiring of the particular units, whether it was the flashing unit or the unit that controls the block signal. So the other thing, how the block signal and the grade crossing work, there's actually infrared sensors here, They are fairly visible, and it's just unfortunate that that's the way they have to be to get these to work properly. You have to drill down through the roadbed and through your bench work to be able to put these infrared detectors up through the rails. So you have to clear the ballast away. So they are pretty noticeable. You know, after a while you tend to not even notice them anymore. But if you see some of these protruding from the rails here, it's just the infrared detectors to let the block animator and the grade crossing work properly. Something else I spent a lot of time in, it was wiring up LEDs for the structures, a lot of street lights. So nighttime operations is actually really cool in this layout, because it's just, I use a lot of the Woodland Scenics lighting products, and it just gives you a nice blend and adjustability to get the light balanced just correctly for what it would be like operating at nighttime. Again, probably doesn't translate real well on video just because of the contrast in the video quality, but here in person it's actually pretty cool how the lighting of this layout is. Here's just a better look. The diesel house, I think, is probably the coolest part of the lighting aspect of it. Again, we have a lot of lamp posts, you know, to light up the refueling station, the sanding towers. Have one lamp post over the weigh scale. So I'll actually pull the roof off the diesel house and show you that it's lit on the inside as well, which was, you know, it was custom. It wasn't included with the kit itself. So again, here's what the diesel house looks like on the inside. So pretty cool. I'm happy with how the lighting works. Let me turn the room lights back on so I can show you the other things inside the diesel house. So inside the diesel house, this is all kit bash stuff. Put a scale in here. I still need to get a lot of the equipment for inside of here, like, you know, welding stations, tool benches, just random tools and things laying around. But the diesel house itself, you know, again, a lot of work went into this, but it's real happy with how it turned out. Okay, so I'm done talking. You didn't watch this video to hear me talk. I'm gonna run some trains here for a little bit, and you know, again, I hope you guys are able to stop by Caboose Stop and check out their inventory and pick up some rolling stock or some locomotives or some scenery or some structures. They have a lot of items in stock, and I hope you stop by and give them a look. So enjoy some trains being run, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.